Assalamu alaikum, sisters. Looks like they're having a hard time this morning. Is there anyone that would like to pray this morning before we start? Is there anyone that would like to pray this morning? Okay, I'll pray. Prayer. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. All praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the Beneficent, the Merciful, Master of the Day of Judgment in which we now live. Thee do we serve, and thee do we beseech for help. O Allah, guide us on the right path, the path of those upon whom thou hast bestowed favors, not the path of those upon whom thy wrath is brought down, nor of those who go astray. Say he, Allah is one. Allah is him on whom all depends. He begets not, nor is he begotten, and none is like him. Say, I seek refuge in the Lord of the dawn, from the evil of what he has created, and from the evil of the utterly dark night when it comes, from the evil of those who blow on knots, and from the evil of the envious when he envies. Say, I seek refuge in the Lord of mankind, the King of mankind, the God of mankind, from the whisperings of the sick and shade, who whispers into the hearts of mankind, from among the jinn and mankind. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, came in the person of Master Prophet Muhammad. I also bear witness that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad is our exalted Christ, and the honorable Minister Farrakhan is our Messiah and divine warner. Assalamu alaikum, sisters. So we stopped at well, we'll see soon, but is there anyone that would like to read this morning? Since I have to host also. If you would like to read, please press the number 1 or type reader. It's okay, sounds good. Thank you so much, Zakiaja. Thank you for joining us every morning. You are appreciated. Is there anyone else that would like to read, that can read today? Sister Sakina, are you able to read this morning? Or Sister Beatrice? Okay.
Assalamu alaikum, ma'am. I'm on my way to work right now. Okay. I was just listening in on the call.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so Sister Octavia, do you mind reading this morning?
I just looked up.
Okay, I'm gonna start reading. I'm gonna mute myself. But let me know if there's anyone that would like to read, if there's more people that come up, okay? I'm gonna mute myself. Oh, Sister Octavia, can you allow me to share?
I'm on my phone and remember I don't know how to do it on the phone.
Okay,
Let me
I'll
see.
just, okay.
And once Mr. gets done nursing, I will read for you. I'll pick it
Okay.
up and all of that stuff.
Okay.
Do any of you know how to share it from your phone?
I think
Or
I
give
can do
somebody
it.
access to share?
I think I can do it by claiming host. So let me know if when you're ready to read, and then I'll stop. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I think we stopped at this verse that I highlighted. So, in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, and how many a town to which I gave respite while it was unjust, then I seized it, and to me is the return. Say home, my people, I am only a plain warner to you. So those who believe and do good, for them is forgiveness and an honorable sustenance. And those who strive to oppose our messages, they are the inmates of the flaming fire. And we never sent a messenger or a prophet before thee, but when he desired, the devil made. Oops. Sorry. Walaikum salam. And we never sent a messenger or a prophet before thee, but when he desired, the devil made a suggestion respecting his desire. But Allah annuls that which the devil casts. Then does Allah establish his messages, and Allah is knowing, wise, that he may make what the devil casts a trial for those in whose heart is a disease and the hard-hearted. And surely the wrongdoers are in severe opposition, and that those who have been given knowledge may know that it is the truth from thy Lord, so they should believe in it, that their heart may be lowly before him. And surely Allah is the guide of those who believe into a right path, and those who disbelieve will not cease to be in doubt concerning it, until the hour overtakes them suddenly, or there comes to them the chastisement of a destructive day. The kingdom on that day is Allah's. He will judge between them. So those who believe and do good will be in gardens of bliss. And those who disbelieve and reject our messages, for them is an abasing chastisement. And those who flee in Allah's way and are slain or die, Allah will certainly grant them a goodly sustenance. And surely Allah is the best of providers. He will certainly cause them to enter a place which they are pleased with. And surely Allah is knowing, forbearing. That is so, and whoever retaliates with the like of that with which he is afflicted and he is oppressed, Allah will certainly help him. Surely Allah is pardoning, forgiving. That is because Allah causes the night to enter into the day and causes the day to enter into the night. And because Allah is hearing, seeing. That is because Allah is the truth, and that which they call upon besides Him, that is the falsehood. And because Allah, He is the High, the Great. Seest thou not that Allah sends down water from the cloud, then the earth becomes green? Surely Allah is knower of subtleties, aware. Him belongs whatever is in the heavens and whatever is in the earth. And surely Allah, He is the self-sufficient, the praised. Seest thou not that Allah has made subservient to you all that is in the earth, and the ships gliding in the sea by His command? And He withholds the heavens from falling on the earth, except with His permission. Surely Allah is compassionate, merciful to men, and He it is. One second. And He it is. Excuse me?
I was saying you can make me host. I was trying to get your attention.
Oh, I just need someone to read because it looks like when I lose the host, I can't share the screen.
Yes, ma'am. Can you give me the verse? No,
It's verse 22. Okay, 22:66. So,
okay, give me a second.
actually 65. 65. Let's start from 65. 22, verse 65, and I'm gonna stop. Okay, I'm gonna mute myself, okay?
Was it section 9, divine mercy and dealing with men? Anybody? Because I don't think she can unmute right now.
We talking about where we left off yesterday?
No, she was just reading some.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you. I'll start here.
Yes, that's where it is.
Okay. Seest thou not that Allah has made subservient to you all that is in the earth, and the ships gliding in the sea by His command? And He withholds the heaven from falling on the earth except with His permission. Surely Allah is compassionate, merciful to men. And He it is who brings you to life. Then He causes you to die. Then He will bring you to life. Surely man is ungrateful. To every nation we appointed acts of devotion, which they observe. So let them not dispute with thee in the matter, and call to thy Lord. Surely thou art on a right guidance. And if they contend with thee, saying, Allah best knows what you do. Allah will judge between you on the day of resurrection, respecting that in which you differ. Knowest thou not that Allah knows what is in the heaven and in the earth? In the earth. Surely this is in a book. That is surely easy to Allah. And they serve besides Allah that for which He has not sent any authority, and of which they have no knowledge. And for the unjust there is no helper. And when when our clear messages are recited to them, thou will notice a denial on the faces of those who disbelieve. They almost attack those who recite to them our messages, saying, shall I inform you of what is worse than this? The fire. Allah has promised it to those who disbelieve, and evil is the resort. Section 10, polytheism will be uprooted. O people, a parable is set forth, so listen to it. Surely those whom you call upon besides Allah cannot create a fly, though they should all gather for it. And if the fly carry off aught from them, they cannot take it back from it. Weak are both the invoker and the invoked. They estimate not Allah with his due estimation. Surely Allah is strong, mighty. Allah chooses messengers from angels and from men. Surely Allah is hearing, seeing. He knows what is before them and what is behind them. And to Allah are all affairs returned. O you who believe, bow down and prostrate yourselves and serve your Lord, and do good that you may succeed. And strive hard for Allah with due striving. He has chosen you and has not laid upon you any hardship in religion. The faith of your father Abraham. He named you Muslims before and in this, that the messenger may be a bearer of witness to you, and you may be bearers of witnesses to the people. So keep up prayer and pay the poor rate and hold fast to Allah. He is your protector. Excellent, the protector, and excellent, the helper. The believers. Success of the faithful. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. Successful indeed are the believers, who are humble in prayer and who shun what is vain, and who act for the sake of purity, and who restrain their sexual passion, except in the presence of their mates or those whom their right hand possesses, for such surely are not blamable. But whoever seeks to go beyond that, such are trespassers. And those who are keepers of their trust in their covenant, and those who keep a guard on their prayers, these are the heirs who inherit paradise, therein they will abide. And certainly we create man of an extract of clay. Then we make him a small life germ in a firm resting place. Then we make the life germ a clot. Then we make the clot a lump of flesh. Then we make in the lump of flesh bones. Then we clothe the bones with the flesh. Then we cause it to grow into another creation. So blessed be Allah, the best of creators. Then after that, you certainly die. Then on the day of resurrection, you will surely be raised up. And indeed, we have made above you 7 ways, and never are we heedless of creation. And we send down water from the cloud according to a measure. Then we cause it to settle in the earth, and we are indeed able to carry it away. Then we cause to grow thereby gardens of palm trees and grapes for you. You have therein many fruit, and of them you eat. And a tree that grows out of the Mount Sinai, which produces oil and relish for the eaters. And surely there is a lesson for you in the cattle. We make you to drink of what is in their bellies. And you have in them many advantages, and of them you eat. and on them and on the ships you are born. Section 2, Noah. And certainly we sent Noah to his people. So he said, O my people, serve Allah. You have no God other than him. Will you not guard against evil? But the chiefs of those who disbelieved from among his people said, he is nothing but immoral like yourselves, who desires to have superiority over you. And if Allah had pleased, he could have sent down angels. We have not heard of this among our fathers or of your. He is only a madman, so bear with him for a time. He said, my Lord, help me against their calling me a liar. So we revealed to him, make the ark under our eyes, and according to our revelation. Then when our command comes, and water gushes forth from the valley, take into it of every kind appear to. And thy people, except those among them against whom the word has gone forth, and speak not to me in respect of those who are unjust. Surely they will be drowned. Then, when thou art firmly seated, thou and those with thee in the ark, say, praise be to Allah, who delivered us from the unjust people, and say, my Lord, cause me to land and bless landing, and thou art the best of those who bring to land. Surely there are signs in this, and surely we are ever trying men. Then we raised after them another generation. So we sent among them a messenger from among them, saying, serve Allah, you have no God other than him. Will you not agree against evil? Section 3, Prophets after Noah. And the chiefs of his people who disbelieved and called the meeting of the hereafter a lie, and whom we had given plenty to enjoy in this world's life, said, this is only a mortal like you, eating of that whereof you eat and drinking of what you drink. And if you obey a mortal like yourselves, then surely you are losers. Does he promise you that when you are dead and become dust and bones, you will then be brought forth? Far, very far, is that which you are promised. There is not but our life in this world. We die and we live, and we shall not be raised again. He is not but a man who has forged a lie against the lie, and we are not going to believe in him. He said, my Lord, help me against their calling me a liar. He said, in a little while, they will certainly be repentant. So the punishment overtook them in justice, and we made them as rubbish. So away with the unjust people. Then we raised after them other generations. No people can hasten on their doom, nor can they postpone it. One second, I'm sorry. Sorry. Then we sent our messengers one after another. Whenever its messenger came to a people, they called him a liar. So we made them follow one another, and we made them stories. So away with the people who believed not. Then we sent Moses and his brother Aaron with our messages and a clear authority to Pharaoh and his chiefs, but they behaved haughtily, and they were an insolent people. So they said, shall we believe in two mortals like ourselves while their people serve us? So they rejected them and became of those who were destroyed. And certainly we gave Moses the book that they might go aright. And we made the son of Mary and his mother a sign, and we gave them refuge on a lofty ground having meadows and springs. Section 4, higher values of life. O ye messengers, eat of the good things and do good. Surely I am knower of what you do. And surely this your community is one community, and I am your Lord. So keep your duty to me. But they became divided into sects. Each party rejoices in that which was with them. So leave them in their ignorance till a time. Think they that by the wealth and children wherewith we aid them, we are hastening to them of good things. Nay, they perceive not. Surely they who live in awe for fear of their Lord, and those who believe in the messages of their Lord, and those who associate not with their Lord, and those who give what they give while their hearts are full of fear, that to their Lord they must return. These hasten to good things, and they are foremost in attaining them. And we lay not on any soul a burden except to the extent of its ability. And what thus is a book which speaks to truth, and they are not wronged. 1 second, I'm sorry.
Nay, their hearts are in ignorance about it, and they have besides this other deeds which they do, until when we seize those who lead easy lives among them with chastisement, lo, they cry for the sore. Cry not for Sisora this day. Surely you will not be helped by us. My messages were indeed recited to you, but you used to turn back on your heels. Haughtily, passing nights and talking nonsense about it. Do they not then ponder the word, or has there come to them that which did not come to their father of old? Or do they not recognize other messenger? Or do they not recognize their messenger that they deny him? Or say they, there is madness in him. Nay, he has brought them the truth, and most of them hate the truth. And if the truth followed their desires, the heavens and the earth, and all those who are therein would perish. Nay, we have brought them their reminder, but they turn away from their reminder. Or dost thou ask them a recompense? But the recompense of thy Lord is best, and he is the best of providers. And surely thou callest them to a right way. And surely those who believe not in the hereafter are deviating from them. And if we show mercy to them and remove the distress they have, they would perish in their inordinacy, blindly wandering on. And already we seized them with chastisement, but they were not submissive to their Lord, nor did they humble themselves, until when we opened for them a door of severe chastisement, lo, they are in despair at it. They're in despair at it. Section 5, polytheism is self-condemned. And he it is who made for you the ears and the eyes and the hearts. Little it is that you give thanks. And he it is who multiplied you in the earth, and to him you will be gathered. And he it is who gives life and causes death. And his is the alternation of the night and the day. Do you not then understand? Nay, they say the like of what the ancients said. They say, when we die and become dust and bones, shall we then be raised up? We are indeed promised this, and so were our fathers before. This is not the stories of those of old. Say, whose is the earth and whose is therein, if you know? They will say, Allah's. Say, will you not then mind? Say, who is the Lord of the seven heavens and the Lord of the mighty throne of power? They will say, this is Allah. Say, will you not then guard against evil? Say, who is it in whose hand is the kingdom of all things? And he protects, and none is protected against him, if you know. They will say, this is Allah's. Say, whence are you then deceived? Nay, we have brought them the truth, and surely they are liars. Allah has not taken to himself a son, nor is there with him any other God. In that case, would each God have taken away what he created, and some of them would have overpowered others. Glory be to Allah above what they describe. The knower of the unseen and the seen. So may he be exalted above what they associate with him. Section 6, regrets of the wicked. Say, my Lord, if thou show me that which they are promised, my Lord, then place me not with the unjust people. And surely we are well able to show thee what we promised them. Repel evil with that which is best. We know best what they describe. And say, my Lord, I seek refuge in thee from the evil suggestions of the devils. I seek refuge in thee, my Lord, lest they come to me. Until when death overtakes one of them, he says, my Lord, send me back, that I may do good in that which I have left. By no means, it is but a word that he speaks, and before them is a barrier until the day they are raised. So when the trumpet is blown, there will be no ties of relationship among them that day, nor will they ask of one another. Then those whose good deeds are heavy, those are the successful. And those whose good deeds are light, those are they who have lost their souls, abiding in hell. The fire will scorch their faces, and they therein will be in severe affliction. Were not that my messages recited to you, but you used to reject them? They will say, our Lord, our adversity overcame us, and we were an erring people. Our Lord, take us out of it. Then if we return to evil, we shall be unjust. He will say, be gone therein and speak not to me. Surely there was a party of my servant who said, our Lord, we believe, so forgive us and have mercy on us. And thou art the best of those who show mercy. But you ridiculed them until they made you forget remembrance of me, and you used to laugh at them. Excuse me. Surely I have rewarded them this day because they were patient, that they are the achievers. He will say, how many years did you tarry in the earth? They will say, we tarried a day or part of a day, but ask those who kept account. He will say, we tarried a day or part of a day, but ask those who keep account. He will say, you tarried but a little, if you only knew. Do you then think that we have created you in vain, and that you will not be returned to us? So exalted be Allah, the true King. No God is there but he, the Lord of the throne of grace. And whoever invokes besides Allah another God, he has no proof of this. His reckoning is only with his Lord. Surely the disbelievers will not be successful. And say, my Lord, forgive and have mercy, and thou art the best of those who show mercy. Chapter 24, the light. Section 1, law relating to adultery. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. This is a chapter which we have revealed and made obligatory, and wherein we have revealed clear messages that you may be mindful. The adulteress and the adulterer flog each of them with 100 stripes, and let not pity for them detain you from obedience to Allah. If you believe in Allah in the last day, and let a party of believers witness their chastisement. The adulterer cannot have sexual relations with any but an adulteress or an idolatress. In the adulteress, none can have sexual relationships with her but an adulterer or an adulterer, and it is forbidden to believers. And those who accuse free women and bring not four witnesses, flog them with 80 stripes and never accept their evidence. And these are the transgressors, except those who afterwards repent and act right. Surely Allah is forgiving, merciful. And those who accuse their wives and have no witnesses except themselves, let one of them testify 4 times, bearing Allah to witness that he is of those who speak the truth. And the 5th time, that the curse of Allah be on him, if he is of those who lie. And it shall avert the chastisement from her if she testify 4 times, bearing Allah to witness that he is of those who lie. And the 5th time, that the wrath of Allah to be on her, if he is of those who speak the truth. And were it not for Allah's grace upon you and his mercy, and that Allah is oft returning to mercy. Why? Section 2. Aisha's slanderers. Surely they who courted the lie are a party from among you. Deem it not an evil to you, nay, it is good for you. For every man of them is what he has earned of sin. And as for him among them who took upon himself the main part thereof, he shall have a grievous punishment. Why did not the believing men and the believing women, when you heard it, think well of their own people and say, this is an evident falsehood? Why did they not bring forth witnesses of it? So, as they have not brought witnesses, they are liars in the sight of Allah. And were it not for Allah's grace upon you and his mercy in this world and the hereafter, a grievous chastisement would certainly have touched you on account of the talk you indulged in. When you received it on your tongues and spoke with your mouths, that of which you had no knowledge, and you deemed it a trifle, while with Allah it was serious. And why did you not, when you heard it, say, it beseems us not to talk of it? Glory be to thee. This is a great calumny. Allah admonishes you that you return not to the like of it ever again if you are believers. And Allah makes clear to you the messages, and Allah is knowing wise. Those who love that scandal should circulate respecting those who believe. For them is a grievous chastisement in this world and the hereafter, and Allah knows while you know not. And where is not, excuse me, and were it not for Allah's grace on you and his mercy, and that Allah is compassionate, merciful. Section 3, slanders of women. O you who believe, follow not the footsteps of the devil, and whoever follows the footsteps of the devil, surely he commands indecency and evil. And were it not for Allah's grace on you and his mercy, not one of you would ever have been pure. But Allah purifies whom he pleases, and Allah is hearing, knowing. And let not possessors of grace and abundance among you swear against giving to the near of kin and the poor, and those who have fled in Allah's way, and pardon and overlook. Do you not love that Allah should forgive you? And Allah is forgiving, merciful. Surely those who accuse chaste, believing women unaware of the evil are cursed in this world and the hereafter, and for them is a grievous chastisement. On the day when their tongues and their hands and their feet bear witness against them as to what they did. On that day, Allah will pay back to them in full their just reward, and they will know that Allah, He is the evidence of truth. Oh, sorry. Unclean things are for unseen ones, and unclean ones are for unclean things. And good things are for good ones, and good ones are for good things. These are free from what they say. For them is forgiveness and an honorable sustenance. Section 4, preventative measures. O you who believe, enter not houses other than your own houses, until you have asked permission and saluted their inmates. This is better for you, that you may have be mindful. But if you find no one therein, enter them not until permission is given to you. And if it is said to you, go back, then go back. This is purer for you, and Allah is knower of what you do. It is no sin for you to enter uninhabited houses wherein you have your necessities. And Allah knows what you do openly and what you hide. Say to the believing men that they lower their gaze and restrain their sexual passions. That is purer for them. Surely Allah is all aware of what they do. And say to the believing women that they lower their gaze and restrain their sexual passion, and do not display their adornment except what appears thereof. And let them wear their head coverings over their bosoms. And they should not display their adornment except to their husbands or their fathers, or the fathers of their husbands, or their sons, or the sons of their husbands, or their brothers' sons, or their sisters' sons, or their women, or those whom their right hands possess, or guileless male servants, or the children who know not women's nakedness. And let them not strike their feet, so that the adornment that they hide may be known. And turn to Allah, all, O believers, so that you may be successful. And marry those among you who are single, and those who are fit among you, among your male slaves and your female slaves, and they are needy. Allah will make them free from want out of His grace, and Allah is ample giving, knowing. And let those who cannot find a match keep chaste until Allah makes them free from want out of His grace. And those of your slaves who ask for writing of freedom, give them the writing, if you know any good in them, and give them of the wealth of Allah, which He has given you. And compel not your slave girls to prostitution when they desire to keep chaste, in order to seek the Pharaoh's goods of this world's life. And whoever compels them, and surely after their compulsion, Allah is forgiven. 34. Oh, sorry. And certainly we have sent to you clear messages and a description of those who passed away before you, and an admonition to those who guard against evil. Section 5, manifestation of divine light. Allah is the light of the heavens and the earth. A likeness of His light is as a pillar on which is a lamp. The lamp is in a glass. The glass is as it were a brightly shining star, lit from a blessed olive tree, neither eastern nor western. The oil whereof gives light, though fire touch it not, light upon light. Allah guides to his light whom he pleases, and Allah sets forth parables for men, and Allah is knower of all things. It is in houses which Allah has permitted to be exalted, and his name to be remembered therein. Therein do glorify him in the mornings and the evenings. Men whom neither merchandise nor selling diverts from the remembrance of Allah, and the keeping up of prayer and the paying of the poor rate. They fear a day in which the hearts and the eyes will turn about, that Allah may give them the best reward for what they did and give them more out of his grace. And Allah provides without measure for whom he pleases. And those who disbelieve, their deeds are as a mirage in a desert, which the thirsty man deems to be water, until when he comes to it, he finds it not, and he finds of Allah with him. So he pays him his dues, and Allah is swift at reckoning. Or like darkness in the deep sea, there covers him a wave, above which is a wave, above which is a cloud, layers of darkness one above another, when he holds out his hand. He is almost unable to see it, and to whom Allah gives not light, he has no light. Section 6, manifestation of divine power. Seest thou not that Allah is he, whom do glorify all those who are in the heavens and the earth, and the birds with wings outspread. Each one knows its prayer and its glorification, and Allah is knower of what they do. And Allah's is the kingdom of the heavens and the earth, and to Allah is the eventual coming. Seest thou not that Allah drives along the clouds, then gathers them together, then pikes them up, so that thou seest the rain coming forth from their midst. And he sends down from the heaven clouds like mountains, wherein hail afflicting there with whom he pleases, and turning it away from whom he pleases. The flash of his lighting almost takes away the sight. Allah causes the night and the day to succeed one another. Surely there is a lesson in this for those who have sight. Allah causes the And Allah has created every animal of water. So of them is that which crawls upon its belly, and of them is that which walks upon 2 feet. And Allah has created every animal of the water. So of them is that which crawls upon its belly, and of them is that which walks upon 2 feet, and of them is that which walks upon 4. Allah creates what he pleases. Surely Allah is possessor of power over all things. We have indeed revealed clear messages, and Allah guides whom he pleases to the right way. And they say, we believe in Allah and in the messenger, and we obey. Then a party of them turn away after this, and they are not believers. And when they are invited to Allah and his messenger, that he may judge between them, lo, a party of them turn aside. And if the right is on their side, they hasten to him in submission. Is there in their hearts a disease, or are they in doubt, or fear they that Allah and his messenger will deal with them unjustly? Nay, they themselves are the wrongdoers. Section 7, establishment of the kingdom of Islam. The response of the believers when they are invited to Allah and his messenger, that he may judge between them, is only that they say, we hear and we obey. And there it is that, and these it is that are successful. And he who obeys Allah and his messenger and fears Allah keeps duty to him. These it is that are the achievers. And they swear by Allah with their strongest oaths that if thou command them, they will certainly go forth. Say, swear not, reasonable obedience is desired. Surely Allah is aware of what you do. Say, obey Allah and obey the messenger. But if you turn away, he is responsible for the duty imposed on him. And you are responsible for the duty imposed on you. And if you obey him, you go aright. And the messenger's duty is only to deliver the message plainly. Allah has promised to those of you who believe and do good that he will surely make them rulers in the earth, as he made those before them rulers, and that he will surely establish for them their religion, which he has chosen for them, and that he will surely give them security in exchange after their fear. They will serve me, not associating aught with me. And whoever is ungrateful after this, they are transgressors. And keep up prayer, pay the poor rate, and obey the messenger, so that mercy may be shown to you. Think not that those who disbelieve will weaken the truth in the earth, and their abode is the fire. And it is indeed an evil resort. Section 8, respect for privacy. O you who believe, let those whom your right hands possess, and those of you who have not attained to puberty ask permission of you 3 times, before the morning prayer, and when you are put off your clothes, for the heat of noon, and after the prayer of night. These are 3 times of privacy for you. Besides these, it is no sin for you nor for them. Some of you go round about waiting upon others. Thus does Allah make clear to you the messages, and Allah is knowing wise. And will the children among you attain puberty, let them seek permission as those before them sought permission. Thus does Allah make clear to you his messages, and Allah is knowing wise. And as for women past childbearing who hope not for marriage, it is no sin for them if they put off their clothes without displaying their adornment. And if they are modest, it is better for them. And Allah is hearing, knowing. There is no blame on the blind man, nor any blame on the lame, nor blame on the sick, nor on yourself that you eat in your own houses, or your father's houses, or your mother's houses, or your brother's houses, or your sister's houses, or your paternal uncle's houses, or your paternal aunt's houses, or your maternal uncle's houses, or your maternal aunt's houses, or houses whereof you possess the keys, or your friends' houses. It is no sin in you that you eat together or separately. So when you enter houses, greet your people with a salutation from Allah, blessed and godly. Thus does Allah make clear to you the messages that you may understand. Section 9, matters of state to take precedence. Only those are believers who believe in Allah and his messenger, and when they are with him on a momentous affair, they go not away until they have asked leave of him. Surely they who ask leave of thee are they who believe in Allah and his messenger. So when they ask leave of thee for some affair of theirs, give leave to whom they will of them, and ask forgiveness for them from Allah. Surely Allah is forgiving, merciful. Make not the calling among you of the messenger as your calling one of another. Allah indeed knows those who steal away from among you, concealing themselves. So let those who go against his order. Beware lest a trial afflict them, or there befall them a painful chastisement. Now surely Allah's is whatever is in the heavens and the earth. He knows indeed your condition. And, and on the day when they are returned to him, he will inform them of what they did. And Allah is knower of all things. And that is the conclusion of today's reading.
Allahu Akbar. Oh, thanks be to Allah. Thank you so much for the reading, Sister Victoria. That was so beautiful. Is there anyone that has any comments? Please raise your hand or tap the number 1.
I have a quick question. Do any of you know if, I think it was before this too, but chapter 22, verse 83, where it talks about oh Lord, my mind just went blank. But it speaks about the promises made after, death and stuff. And it was talking about how we have basically the promises are here. It's talking about heaven and stuff. Do y'all know if it clearly states that in the Bible anywhere? Because it clearly states it here, but I'm not sure about the Bible. And I would like to know if it does so that I can reference it if needed.
What was that verse?
83, chapter 22, verse 83.
There's no 22:83.
What'd you say? I said chapter 22.
You said chapter 22, verse 83?
Yes, ma'am. That's what I wrote. Hold on, I could be wrong.
Yeah, because ain't no 83. It stops at 78.
Oh, Lord. Okay, I'm gonna find it and then I'll get back with y'all.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Any other comments, family? Don't be shy.
My bad, it's 23 and 83.
23.
It says, we are indeed promised this, and we, well, that's what I wrote. It starts before it. They say when we die and become dust and bones, shall we then be raised up? We are indeed promised this, and so were our fathers before. This is not but stories of those of old. Say, who's in the earth? Okay, but yeah. And then before in the chapter, it mentions it.
Yes, ma'am. Anyone has a comment about what she just said?
Look, y'all know I'm on my studying journey, right? But when I read that, I thought that these were questions that the disbelievers were asking, like in mockery. Like, oh, are we going to come back from dust too? That's what we were taught before. But I could be wrong. But I actually had that written down in my notes too, because it reminded me of because earlier when it mentioned the same, they were also basically saying that why would we listen to a mortal, right? And that reminds me of the current state, I guess, of the fact that, most of our people are waiting for the spook God or whatever the case may be. And we struggle with the idea that Allah is a man, so that's what that made me think of. And this was like a continuation of the mockery. But like I said, I don't know for sure, but that's how I read it when we were reading the verses.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I don't know on my side. don't know, just learning with you guys on that part. Sister 82, 23, verse 82. Oh, it's not on that. 23, verse 82.
Yes, that's the verse that Sister Octavia just read.
Okay.
I do have something that came up on 23 and 54. And so I'll read it and then I'll say what I got from it. It said, obey Allah and obey the messenger. But if you turn away, he is responsible for the duty imposed on him, and you are responsible for the duty imposed on you. And if you obey him, you are aright. And the messenger's duty is only to deliver the message plainly. And to me, that was a clear instruction to mind your business. Like, I think, and I can speak for myself, but I think like it's so easy to get caught up in the doings and the perception of other people. You know what I mean? And we feel like we have this imaginary authority to, you know, dream up or think up of what someone should get or what they shouldn't get or what their punishment should be. And probably over the last 6 or 7 months, and I think I've shared on here before, I have really been praying to be released from I don't know, there was a time where I was so judgmental. You know what I mean? Like I would see a thing and then it just becomes this solid thing in my mind, right? And over the past probably like 8 months, I want to say, like I've been in constant prayer to be released from that. And I find myself like doing like little exercises, like when I'm watching something or when I'm reading something to like correct my mind when it goes that way. And this has really been like a saving grace for me. Not that I knew of this chapter, but it's really been like for instance, the other day, I forgot where we were. I was somewhere with my husband and we were buying something at the store. And when I tell you guys, this lady, she came from the back. You know how like you're in the store and they got one cash register open and it's about 8 of us in the line. So they called someone from the back. And when I tell you that this lady, she came up and her energy was just it was so dark in a sense. And like she was slamming stuff and you can just tell that she did not want to be there that day. And my first thought, knowing where I used to be, I would have been like, oh no, like what is going on? But my first thought was like, dang, I really hope Allah frees her from whatever has her being this way. Because like there's really you have to be something going on. Yes, every day we don't feel like going to work, of course. But for her to be this affected by whatever is going on, I just hope that, you know what I mean, that whatever is going on in today's time, there's no telling what could be going on in her life. And it was like I reflected on that. I'm like, I'm so thankful to Allah because it has been a trial of mine, but just staying in constant remembrance of like, that is not your business. Like we don't know what anyone is going through at any moment of time. And we will get through something and then immediately judge someone that's going through the same thing. Like, ma'am, you was toned down too. Like you was just tore down in that very same trial, acting a fool. So don't act like you was not just there. And so that verse was just like a clear instruction. Like mind, just mind our own business, mind our own trial, and try our best to give of what we have without thinking we know more, because Allah is going to handle his business. He said that multiple times throughout these scriptures. I promise you, I know what I'm doing. Those who are going to get what they're going to get by my will, they're going to get it, regardless of if you have something to say, no one can change what he has already written or what he has already decided of a person. So that's just what I got from that verse.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, Sister Victoria. All praise be to Allah. Hi, that's beautiful. And yes, it reminds me. I don't know if it when that happens, Sister Victoria, but to me, like I already said it yesterday, but I want to say it again. Since reading this book together and really like part by part, it's been a huge blessing seeing how my mind, it's like seeing myself, seeing my mind change in the way I function on so many levels, and seeing some habits that I used to have just fall and losing interest in them because my mind is on reading and understanding what's in the Quran, and it's beautiful. All praise be to Allah. But Sister Sakina put a number 1, and she said for chapter 24, verse 60, can you elaborate more on the meaning of the verse? I'm gonna share it real quick because I have it on my Kindle. And if anyone has anything to share about this verse, let me know. It says, and as for women past childbearing, who hope not for marriage, it is no sin for them if they put off the clothes without displaying their adornment. And if they are modest, it is better for them, and Allah is hearing, knowing. Does anyone know or understand what this verse says? I guess you're asking for if they put off the clothes without displaying their adornment.
Yeah.
They put off clothes. I honestly cannot say. I have no clue. I'm questioning as much as you. I don't know.
To me, I read it and I'm like, dang, is this a conflict? Because it seems like they're like taking off their clothes, but then also it's like be modest. So I had the same question.
You know, this part stuck out to me as well, if I may, because it's interesting because like my mother, she's older, and a lot of times she'll say, oh no, when she recently got divorced within the past few years, and she'll say, oh no, I'm old, and she's not, right? But she'll say that. And she actually said that to my son yesterday. And when I noticed she does cover more now. But one thing she has said in the very beginning was, I don't want to get married again. And what I've noticed is that, or she has said that, what I've noticed is that, let me explain it, like, there's a freedom that has come with that and a take charge in terms of, I've always known her to be married for a very long time. And okay, I'm going to redirect this a little bit, because where my mind is taking it is in terms of Allah's wisdom. The term that comes to my mind is there's no compulsion in Islam. And so there's wisdom. You can obey Allah and cover your adornments, and it's a protection for us. And I see that for her, living alone, that for her, she covers up more. She's my representation of that because she's older. And so she covers up more to protect herself security wise where she is. But technically, her adornments are not to lure men. She's not interested in that. And I'm like, this is the mercy of Allah, because sometimes we speak a thing and we don't know what we're saying. So like as her daughter, I'm like, ooh, like, are you sure what you're, like, you sure what she's saying? But I gotta believe what she's saying. But another thing that comes to my mind is Dr. Ava speaking about relationships. And she had mentioned about how she was older when she had gotten married and that she wasn't sure that it would happen for her. And she mentions in that lecture, it's on YouTube, it's a little clip, and she says, for every woman, there's a portion of her life that she'll spend alone. It'll either be in the beginning of her life, it'll be in the middle period, or it might be at the end. And so I thought that was very, very interesting because my mom's been married twice before, but this is for like 20 years each, for a very long time. And I realized, I said, wow, she's just in her season right now. But then I noticed with her dress how she is very careful to guard. But yet in another environment, like maybe in Ghana, she's able to be more free, have her hair out, have more skin out, and be free. But at the same time, the energy she exudes is a bit different when she's freer. So again, back to this, not being judgmental or critical, I look at it and I'm like, wow, the wisdom of Allah in this section, that he's saying, look, no compulsion, in Islam. But what I hear him saying here is be wise.
Anyone else? Thank you so much, Sister Mariama, for your comments. And yes, that's great food for thought. Thank you. And is there anyone else that has any comments? I'm still sharing the verse so that you can read it, maybe. Okay, Sister Naomi, go ahead, sis.
Assalamualaikum. So I was listening to what Sister Mariam was saying. I think I said that right. In that section where it says, and as for women past childbearing who hope not for marriage, it is no sin for them if they put off their clothes without displaying their adornment, right? That without part, displaying their adornment. I have always, being a nation baby from like the pioneers, the older women, it has always been repeated from the sisters who were like prior to 75. And I don't know if anybody else has noticed it, like if you go to functions that are at people's homes, not necessarily the mosque, but the older sisters, they relax their head coverings. Taught we're taught that, that we cover our head and things like that, but it's not shameful for them because they're older women. They're not getting married. They're not looking for, they're not looking for a husband. Normally they about in their 80s and 70s and stuff like that. But I was looking above that and something else came to mind where I'm looking at where it says, and you have highlighted what is hold on. I think this is 24:58, where it says, "Oh, you who believe, let those whom your right hand possess, and those of you who have not attained to puberty, ask permission of you 3 times before the morning prayer, and when you put off your clothes for the heat of noon, and after the prayer of night. These are the times of privacy for you. Besides these, it is no sin for you nor for them." Right? Some of you go around waiting upon others. And that brought to mind, there's another verse in the Holy Quran that talks about when we're talking about nakedness and being uncovered and stuff like that. And it talks about children who, like young children who don't know anything about the body, or, when they look at somebody, it's just somebody. They don't see what we see after we've passed puberty, and how it's saying that it's no sin for those children. And if like in the morning you're just getting up, you're not necessarily dressed. It's a heat of noon, so it must be talking about people in the desert. Like, it's too hot, so they don't have clothes on or whatever. But these are the times of privacy because we're uncovered. But if it's a person, before puberty, and they asking permission, and if they did come in, then it's no sin, for them, for you or them, right? Because their mind is not on, I guess you like sexual thoughts or whatever. But I was thinking that same thing because it just keeps going on. And when the children among you attain to puberty, let them seek permission as those before them sought permission. Thus Allah will make clear to you his messages and lies, knowing wise. And then it goes into that, the older women, right? Because there is a way to, we've seen our grandmothers do it. They're not necessarily cover. Our grandmas being home and they be wearing muumuus. You wouldn't wear, I'm sure if y'all don't know what a muumuu is, you could say that in comment. But them little they're like little nightgown things that grandmas be wearing, and you would not wear that in public, but it's covering, but it's not covering, if that makes sense. Yeah, but yeah, permission to enter rooms. It's not something that we will wear that would be modest outside of the home, but when grandmas wear it, it's still considered modest. So I think sometimes the rules don't, to me, that says that the rules for the older women, it's very different. Like Sister Mariam said, like your grandmother's not looking, to be in a relationship or anything. And I just know as my mama got older, whereas when she was younger, like in, her little fit years and stuff, she was always covered, even though she was a Christian lady. But the older she got, what she wore then is not necessarily what she wore towards the end. And she was more uncovered, yet she was still covered for her age. I hope that makes sense.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for your comments. Maybe it's comfort. What do you guys think? Like still covering the adornment, but for total comfort, maybe? I don't know. That's what I'm hearing. Am I right? Okay. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts on that. That was eye-opening for sure, because I didn't understand that part. Any other comments, family? Any more comments, please? Sister Victoria, go ahead, sis.
I just had a really quick comment about more of a reminder, honestly. I think I shared on here before. I was listening to a video, and they were pulling success characteristics from the Bible, like basically adapting principles of success from the scriptures in the Bible. And the book that they were talking about specifically at the time was Genesis. And they were mentioning how in Genesis, it says that, I don't know specifically the language, and I can't find my Bible. I only have this translated version, and this translated version is not what they were reading from. But it continues to mention there was night and then day, and then the day was completed or something like that, basically emphasizing that what it was saying was that one of the things was that God prepares the night before the day, if that makes sense. And then it mentions it, I think I brought this up because it mentioned it at another point in the Quran as well. But on chapter 24, verse 44, it says, Allah causes the night and the day to succeed one another. And I thought that, like, because I've still, like, normally I prepare the day before, but I've been slacking. And I don't know, to me, it just came off as another reminder to prepare in advance. Because I don't think I've ever read a point where the day is stated before the night. It's always night and the day. And so that was something that stood out to me just as like a reminder to plan in advance. Like my days go smoother, whatever it is that I'm doing goes smoother when I already have a plan in action versus I'm not saying plan down to the second because that's stressful and then and often cause anxiety. But it was just an instruction for me to be in the way of planning. Like, of course, life is going to happen, but like we can alleviate a lot of stress, at least if we go into our days with a plan. So somebody?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Preparation is, there's a saying, preparation, something I forget. But preparation is always good. It does alleviate a lot of burden when you're prepared. Thank you for your comments, sis. And I just wanted to share something that reminded me about about what people say. Okay, I'm going to read it. It's chapter 24, verse 15. When you received, maybe I should read 24:14. And were not for Allah's grace upon you and his mercy in this world and the hereafter, every grievous chastisement would certainly have touched you on account of the talk you indulged in, when you received it on your tongue and spoke with your mouth, that of which you had no knowledge, and you deemed it a trifle, while with Allah it was serious. And why did you not, when you heard it, say, it beseems us not to talk of it? Glory be to thee. This is a great calumny. Allah admonishes you that you return not to the like of it ever again if you are believers. And Allah makes clear to you the messages, and Allah is knowing, wise. And this just is a huge reminder to me that to not even indulge in little things that seem like it's nothing, but it can be very serious with Allah. And also be strong and firm in the talk of it. And this reminds me, there's so our mosque at number 4 is in renovation because of when COVID happened, no one was in there, and now they have to renovate it. And it's been a while that we're in another center when we're meeting. And I remember our sister captain telling us, and this is what it reminds me. She said, some like people can be dissatisfied with the fact that the mosque is not ready yet, but it is almost ready. But it's like the patience, people sometimes are not patient, so they would talk And when she said that, she said to not allow people, I forget exactly the words, but to not talk about the mosque in a way that's that doesn't feel respectful about the process that we're going through, and all of that. And this, right after that, like it's like Allah tested me right away about this, because like right after that, I was talking with a sister, and she told me right away something about the mosque not being ready, and I was like, right away, because I heard her say that, I was like, we need to be patient, because it's the process. Like, people are literally working hard every day um to make the mosque a beautiful place, so that we can come back to a completely renovated. And it takes money, and it takes labor. It's not just, magic. But it, like, this part really, it reminds me of these little things that don't seem so big, and it's really nothing, but really it's serious with Allah sometimes. So to guard against certain talks that are a great calumny to Allah. That's what I got from this part. Sister Victoria? Oh, wait, Sister
Okay.
Who was first?
I think I put a 1 right after you earlier,
Okay.
but I can go last. It doesn't matter.
No, go ahead.
Okay, I'm so glad that you read that, because it was a confirmation of something. So I just read, what did I just read? 24 and 44 about the night before the day and proper planning. And then when you read that I had a thought that I was going to avoid. And then you read the part in verse 15 that said, that of which you had no knowledge, and you deemed it a trifle. So yesterday when we were reading and we were talking about knowledge, and how they were saying that, okay, we are afraid of you. And he said that basically you don't need to be afraid, because there is a boy that's coming with knowledge, meaning that knowledge will free us of stress, anxiety, and fear, right? And that made me think about this idea of planning, and why planning is so beneficial to us, because it allows us to go into the day with a sort of knowledge. It's not, I hope I'm making sense, but because I know what I plan for today to be, I have that knowledge, so I'm less stressful as I'm coming into today. Even if everything doesn't go as planned, I have a plan that will allow me to execute and move forward in my day. Versus if I just start and now I'm trying to figure out all of the things and all of the pieces that I need to put in place to be successful today. And so that, like, putting those two things together made it make so much more sense as to why, for my own self, that planning has to become essential, because it's almost a known thing that whenever I move forward without some type of instruction, quote unquote, or knowledge, that things are more stressful, because you're literally trying to piece the puzzle together as the day unfolds, versus just following the plan that you have before. So thank you for reading that, because that was like a confirmation for me to something.
Praise be to Allah. Beautiful. Thank you, Sister Victoria, for your comment. Sister Naomi, go ahead, sis.
You highlighting that actually brought something to mind, and it's interesting you saying that the mosque was is being renovated, and how the sister captain was telling you all about the type of talk in which to have. We were just recently In our mosque in particular, we just finished renovations here in Phoenix. And when you hold on, for verse 14 of the chapter that you were just referencing, I can't see what the chapter is, but it says, if it were, and were it not for Allah's grace upon you and his mercy in this world and hereafter, a grievous chastisement would certainly have touched you on the account of the talk you indulged in when you received it on your tongues and spoke it with your mouths, that of which you had no knowledge, and you deemed it a trifle, right? A trifle is the definition of a trifle is a thing of little value, of importance, right? While with a lie, it was serious. And why did you not, when you heard it, say it? I'm gonna have to look up some of these words. It beseems us to not talk of it, meaning that it's not, it doesn't befit us to talk about it. Glory be to thee. This is a calumny. And a calumny is the making of false and defamatory statements in order to damage someone's reputation. Slander. But that's what I was trying to get at, that word slander, right? Our student minister was sharing, and we were studying on the signs of a hypocrite and disbelievers. And one of the things that the minister said, that a mark of a hypocrite is nosiness, right? Always want to be in people's business, always want to know, always passing on the good gossip, the juice, the slander, right? And for the first time, so there's we have our restrictive laws, and there's, you get 1 to 5 for the main ones. And recently, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said to our minister here about slander, he said, don't treat it as if it's a little thing, because that's not something that you would normally get 1 to 5 for, right? But he said, put them out. If it's slander, if it's gossip, if it's bad talk, he said, do not treat it as if it is a little thing. He said, put them out. Because in this hour, because normally you would just get you get an admonition, but you didn't get put out. But he was saying that in this hour, we do not, that is the most dangerous thing, to be sitting and gossiping and talking about people's business and talking about what people do, and whisperings, within the mosque. And it always brings me back to those last 2 ayats in the Holy Quran that talks about, suggestions being put in firm resolutions. And I have noticed, because I've been guilty of it too, just sometimes we be talking about stuff, and it's not even that your intention is to necessarily cause any trouble, any grief or whatever. And you look at it as if it's like a little thing, but it's literally saying that that's not how Allah views it. He don't look at it as if it's a little thing. And so our minister was highlighting the type of people and where you would have to be spiritually, emotionally, and everything for that to always be your talk, and to guard against it. Because when we get disappointed, it brings up different things. And so when you were talking about the mosque not being ready and things like that, and different people bringing it up, that disappointment, as the Honorable Minister Farrakhan says in The Origin of Disappointment, he says that disappointment will turn you into a devil. And if we're a devil, then that means that we're far removed, from Allah. So it is, just reading that reminds me to really, I close my ears off to all of it. And since I'm in a place where I don't even really talk on the phone, like none of those things, my life is way more peaceful, because I don't hear the different things. And it's not that I don't care about what's going on with people, but it's not my business. Got my own life, got my own issues. And that's all I need to be worried about right now, right? Because I got a lot of work to do. But just the simple fact that the minister said, I've never seen it that way, where he said, don't treat it like it's some little small thing, right? And now we're reading in the Holy Quran where it says, you know, we treat it like a trifle, but Allah does not treat it like that. Put them out, period. It tells you how important it is that we watch our mouths, we watch our tones, we watch what we allow to come to our ears. We watch. I mean, you have to literally watch everything, because in this hour, you know, deviation starts small, and it's easy for something to be dropped on us that may be unsuspecting, but it's not really unsuspecting. And in Closing the Gap, it talks about what high level conversation does for the person versus low level conversation does for someone. And then when it follows up with 17, it says, Allah admonishes you that you return not to the like of it ever again if you are believers. So if we're believers, then we're reminded, and there's a constant reminder that Allah is on our mind. And Allah makes clear to you the messages, and Allah is knowing wise. Those who love that scandal should circulate, respecting those who believe. For them is a grievous chastisement in this world and the hereafter, and Allah knows while you know not. So that to me says that if you're one of those people who love to talk about people, you're one of those people who love to be in the know of everything, and you're one of those people who always got the news, then we fall in that category, right? That you it's a grievous chastisement. And I don't think anybody wants a chastisement, especially not in this hour. But that just brought that up because, again, I had never heard the minister say it like that or handle that something. I mean, slack talk, backbiting, and gossiping is not small, but I've never seen it where it's been a thing where people immediately have been put out. Because he said, don't treat it like it's a small thing, put them out. It don't have to be a 1 to 5 fraction, put them out. But that's what that brought to mind. So thank you, Sister Amadine.
Praise be to Allah, and thank you so much for your comment. It was so needed. It is so needed. Praise be to Allah. Do we have any other comments from our last reading? Is there anything that you found important?
Assalamu alaikum.
Yes, welcome.
I did highlight a few pages that you had posted, and there's one page that was just up that I glanced at right after Sister Naomi started or stopped speaking. It says Surah 23:101. So when the trumpet is blown, there will be no ties of relationship among them that day, nor will they ask nor will they ask of one another. Then those whose good deeds are heavy, those are successful. And those whose good deeds are light, those are they. And those whose good deeds are light, those are they who have lost their souls abiding in hell. The fire will scorch their faces, and they therein will be in severe affliction. Were not my messages recited to you, but you used to reject them. And so just that portion right there, I just was thinking about, man, the trumpet has been blown is what, like, you know, I felt when Sister was talking, like the trumpet has been blown. That was verse 23, or excuse me, Surah 23, verse 101. And so immediately it brings me to think about the minister and how when I first came in orientation 2011, the restrictive law book was unveiled around that time. And the seriousness of it was, you know, for me, the trumpet was blown. But it's interesting how I've just started gaining understanding of how serious slander is, and how, this idea that's been coming up about minding your business. I put that in the chat because it's interesting. The last words that I, shared with my husband last night is I was just thinking about my life. And I've been doing a lot of studying about ethics and restrictive law and just ethics. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that I realized how talk that's not in the line of your personal business is a distraction. It's a huge distraction because it puts you into someone else's zone or into areas where you have no control. And so even just hearing it or allowing that knowledge to go into your mind, but not being able to do anything about it, it sits there in our so-called universe, it sits there, and what can you do about it except for take on that thought? But then it has your attention and it blocks you from your own personal life and your own personal journey and the things that you desire, that I desire, and so I'm realizing where my attention goes, energy flows. And so if I allow anything, it could be anything, because I could block and be successful one moment from, I stopped that conversation over here from proceeding in my presence. But then in the next moment, it might be social media that's got me pulled into something else. And I realized last night, I was like, wow, whatever's got our attention, the distractions are essentially like shaitan. And that's kind of how my mind's been equating it. So yes, just this idea of distractions, but to stay motivated on my route, because on that day when the trumpet is blown, there's that section is saying there's nobody, you have to account for what you did. And how can I, really account for all of this area that my attention's been at that has nothing to do with my purpose in life or the things that bring me joy or that can glorify Allah. And, I just realized wow, the seriousness of this is coming down daily. And I recognize that this is holy season for us. And I'm like, whoa, no, attention, where attention goes right now, energy absolutely flows. And this section right here was just confirmation for me. Again, I'll read it. So it's Surah 23:101. So when the trumpet is blown, there will be no ties of relationship among them that day, nor will they ask one of one another. Allahu Akbar.
Beautiful. Allahu Akbar. So beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, sisters. That was such a wholesome, beautiful call. All praise be to Allah. I've been fed beyond. I'm full. Okay. All praise be to Allah. Is there anyone that would like to pray as we conclude? If you would like to pray, just go ahead and unmute yourself. Okay, I think I have a prayer that I would like to do. Sister Naomi wrote, that said, you are responsible for you when you come in front of Allah. Thank you, Sister Mariana. Okay, I'm going to do the refuge prayer for us. Prayer. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. O Allah, I seek thy refuge from anxiety and grief, and I seek thy refuge from lack of strength and laziness, and I seek thy refuge from cowardice and niggardliness, and I seek thy refuge from being overpowered by death and the oppression of men. O Allah, suffice thou me with what is lawful, to keep me away from what is prohibited, and with thy grace make me free of want of what is beside thee. Bear witness that there is no God but Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, and I also bear witness that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad is our exalted Christ, and the honorable Minister Farrakhan is our Messiah and divine warner in our midst. Amen. Thank you so much for joining your call, sisters. Please come back tomorrow, please, please. I look forward to see you tomorrow. And assalamu alaikum. Have a blessed day. Take a little walk if you can. I love you.
Walaikum
Love you
salam.
too.
Love you too, sis.
Walaikum salam.
Well, I think so.